Welcome to the Front Office Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Cameron, and as always, our co-host is Sean L. Wood. Thank you for all the subscribers who've subscribed to the channel and gave us some feedback and likes. We really appreciate it. We welcome you back. This is going to be our preview episode of the NBA Finals. Even though my voice doesn't sound like it, I'm actually very excited about this series. I think it's going to be a lot better than people think. We'll get to some predictions. Elwood actually sent us a 30-second video. Not a whole lot of information, just kind of giving his picks and his thoughts after the Game 7 loss by the Celtics. I am wearing an oldie but goodie by my man Idris with High Flight Apparel 420 shirt. Shop with my folks. And we will be bringing more tees and trees and some other goodies along the way as far as wearing it. We try to keep it independent on this show. So if you don't see me wearing something independent by an independent clothing line, then it'll probably be a white t-shirt until we get some paid sponsors. All right, let's get to it. Denver versus Miami. Game 1 tonight. That's about 2 a.m. My time. And, you know, as you guys know, if you've been keeping up with all the shows, it's about the best time I can get to record. It's quiet. Get my thoughts together and get some good information out. We will try to have it edited and up in the morning. The goal is before 11. I can't control how fast YouTube uploads the video. So that's the goal. Game doesn't start at 8:30. So, you know, our predictions and picks will be in before the game starts for sure. First thing, Denver keys to winning. I think Denver, I've said it before, I think they're the best team in the NBA as far as roster is concerned. They have a great coaching staff. Mike Malone's a great coach. That home court advantage in Denver is a really big thing. Nobody is immune to that altitude that they play in. And their crowd seems to be great through 4 quarters. I haven't seen them like take a few minutes off or anything like that. They're great through 4 quarters. So playing up tempo is what they want to do. I think they're going to be super aggressive to start the game just because they've been waiting, they've been resting, they're anxious. That can work for them. I think that can work for them very well in game 1, honestly. Just the sheer adrenaline of being back on the court, first finals ever with that franchise, that can also work against them. That can definitely work against them. But tempo is going to be a key thing for them. I think if they can control the tempo as far as getting up and down the floor, that's when they flourish. Jokic in the middle of the court or on their half-court sets, if he becomes a playmaker, which he is, but if he does a lot of it, it's not going to go well for the Heat. I think the best way to defend him is make him beat you scoring, because the other way it hurts and it's hard for you to be able to adjust to it. If he is posting up and he's finding wide open shooters in the corner, then on the other side of that, you're going to start questioning your coaching moves and, well, should we send a double or should we not send a double? He can hurt you in a lot of different ways. I think you want him to be a scorer. I think Jamal Murray has the clear advantage in this series if they start Gabe Vincent. I don't think Gabe Vincent will play him. I think Miami will do the zone, just to be honest, but it's not college. That zone is not really a zone. It's more of like a matchup man zone. And they can protect Gabe Vincent a little bit, but once Murray wants to post, he's going to post. And if I'm supposed to, you got to be very careful about where you double team and how you sending it, because Caldwell Pope can shoot it. Michael Porter Jr. can shoot it. Aaron Gordon with a wide open 3 probably knocks it down 2 out of 5 times. Good night, 3 out of 5. They'll take that. So I think that's going to be a key for them. Tempo. 3-point shooting for Denver. They're a better 3-point shooting team than the Celtics, I believe. I haven't looked at any stats, and, you know, somebody somebody's gonna listen to this and be like, "Oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about." Boston shoots it at 43% or whatever, whatever. I'm just talking about right now in the playoffs. I've watched Denver from the first round to now, and I've watched Miami from the first round to now. Denver is a pretty good 3-point shooting team in all 5 positions, honestly. Starters. Bruce Brown will definitely knock down an open 3. Jeff Green will definitely hit a corner 3. The young fella, Braun, I forget his first name. I think he's from Kansas. More of a kind of slasher type player. I'm pretty sure if he gets a good look at a 3, it's easy money. So that's a real key. The disadvantages for them, I think, or the things that can hurt them, is the things that the Heat do very, very well. I don't think Denver defends the paint very well. And I know numbers are going to say this and numbers are going to say that. But if you paid attention to the Lakers series, if you paid attention to the Phoenix series, even the Timberwolves series, when they looked out of sorts, it was when teams were being extremely aggressive and driving the basketball. In order for that to work, you have to have good shooting on the outside, because if you don't have good shooting on the outside, that's exactly what Miami did to the Celtics the last 2 games. Even though the Celtics won Game 6, it was off of a crazy tip in by Derek White. I was happy. I was picking the Celtics. Of course, Elwood was happy, but we both discussed and said probably should have lost that game, which is why I felt like they were kind of destined to win, because you stole a game that you shouldn't have. You were already down 3-0. Excuse me. You were already down 3-0. So they didn't shoot the ball well those last 2 games, and I think that really hurt them. I think Denver just doesn't defend the paint well. I think Jokic is a decent defender, and Aaron Gordon is a pretty good defender. But one-on-one, take him in one-on-one situations, I'll take the guy going against Jokic. I'll take the guy going against Aaron Gordon, just because as far as attacking the paint is concerned, the guys on the Heat's team, Bam, Jimmy, Max Strus doesn't mind going down there. More of a 3-point specialist, but he doesn't mind going down there. Kyle Lowry will go in there. They attack the paint very, very well, and I think that's the one weakness that kind of jumps out at me about the Denver Nuggets. Roster is great. Great role players, great punch off the bench. Like I said, really good coaching, but that's the one thing that worries me about them, or I would say is an actual deficiency, is that Jokic is a MVP caliber player. I mean, he's doing things we've never seen before at that center position. He's amazing, but he ain't the greatest defender in the world, and he's going to have to defend that paint. As far as the Miami Heat are concerned, I think their balanced scoring is going to be big for them. Their role players have been amazing throughout this playoffs. I'm not sure if I've seen a supporting cast do this well. I think people forgetting, Tyler Hero is 20 points a game. And whatever else he does as far as drawing attention, having defenders running at him while he's shooting 3-pointers, they haven't had that since the playoffs started, technically. And that's going to be – they haven't used it as an excuse. It's something that I don't think they really care about, honestly. They move like they don't care. It doesn't bother them. It doesn't matter what you put in front of them. They're just going to hop over the obstacle. I think Bam is not going to be able to stop Jokic, but he absolutely has to bother him. He has to be able to guard him one-on-one. And I know what you're saying. Nobody can guard Jokic one-on-one. Yes, we're well aware nobody can guard him one-on-one. But from a coaching perspective, you can't keep sending double teams to the guy who can beat you passing the ball. I mean, I'm not an NBA player. I'm not an NBA coach. I don't think you can do that all game. Spots maybe here and there, throw them off, give them different looks, put somebody different on them. But I don't like sending a double team to him all the time. Number one, He plays slow enough to where he's not going to kill you. He might get 40 or 50, but it's going to take him 18 seconds of the shot clock to do so. And if all he's getting is twos and nobody else is getting threes, sounds like a win to me. But, what do I know? I think they have to shoot the ball well. Supporting cast. Caleb Martin has to, as crazy as it sounds, I think he has to step it up another level or be just as good as he was in the Eastern Conference Finals to give Miami a chance, which I think is possible. I think Spoelstra can do a lot of different things, and I'll get to that in a minute. I just kind of wanted to cover the Heat's pros and cons. Rebounding is a big pro for the Heat. They do a great job of rebounding. Defensively, they are the better defensive team, period. I don't care what numbers or stats you want to throw at me. I don't care. I'm watching the playoffs and not the regular season and not these stats. Stats do matter. I'm not one of these guys who, stats doesn't matter and da-da-da-da. And no, stats do matter. Some of them lie. Some of them tell the truth. None of them are wrong. If you look at the Heat throughout the playoffs, they have been great defensively. That Boston team is lethal. We saw just how lethal they were in Game 7 against Philly. And it was not the case in Game 7 against Miami, mainly because of that defense. Now, Boston didn't shoot it well, but you have to give, like I said in the last video, you have to give Miami some credit to that, with some credit for that. The wide open threes, no, you don't get credit for that. But beating them up, fighting them on every screen, taking every charge, it takes a toll on you, especially if your main job is to shoot and you're chasing guys around screens and having to be physical when you're not used to being physical. It changes a series. I watched it in the Cavs versus the Warriors when they came back from 3-1. They literally picked and rolled Steph Curry to death. And that was what it took in order to wear that team down. Attacking the paint. Like I said, I think Miami has to continue to attack the paint. They shoot a lot of threes, but those threes look more and more open when Jimmy is able to get to his spot, when Bam is getting an offensive rebound here and there, if they're doing a back cut with Strus or Duncan Robinson, if Gabe Vincent is able to run an effective pick and roll with Bam, those three-pointers start to become a little bit more wide open because you have to pay attention to this. So it's important for them to effectively run offense. I think they have to not play Denver's game. I think Denver wants it to be in the high 110s or 115s, even 120. I don't think it'll get that high unless it's just a blowout. It might. Miami doesn't want to play that high as far as points. They want to keep that thing around low hundreds, maybe 105, 107 probably at the most. I think that's when they're the most effective because then they're controlling the tempo. Tempo is always a big thing for me, just watching basketball and playing basketball. Whoever controls the tempo usually has a great chance of controlling and winning the game because you're able to do the things that your team is better at. And that's from a coaching standpoint. That's what the coach to understand. That's why the point guard position is so important because if one team wants to run and another team wants to play half court, where whoever does what they want to do more times than not wins. So it's important for both teams to kind of control pace. That's going to be a lot harder for the Miami Heat because they're in their building and they have to deal with crowd and things of that nature, but they are tested. Now, Game 7 is a little different than Game 1. Let's just be honest about that. I mean, your focus should be the same, but Game 7 is way more intense than Game 1. Game 1 is always a feel-out game, so the teams can kind of learn who each other are because they're not the same teams that they were in the regular season. So it'll be interesting to see the matchup tonight. As far as the predictions are concerned, let's get to it. Elwood has a 30-second video he wanted me to edit in.
Hey, what's going on out there, guys? Elwood just checking in for the Front Office Podcast. Just wanted to let you know, my Celtics, they let me down. Game 7 was a colossal disappointment. Congrats to Miami. Y'all earned it. You fought for it. You got it. Well, now guess what? Now you got them Denver Nuggets, and Jokic is about to be a real problem. Michael Porter, Jamal Murray. I ain't got to name the names. The only chance I think Miami's got is buckets and Spo. But good luck. I'm going to take Denver in 5. Front Office Podcast. Peace.
All right. That's Elwood's pick. Gentleman sweep for the Denver Nuggets. I've been kind of going back and forth with this since the Boston series ended. And my good basketball sense tells me that Denver is going to win this series in 6. However, I am a betting man. And the wife has been picking. She wanted me to make sure I put this on here. The wife has been picking Miami Heat to win the championship since the playoffs started. That's a team that she's always kind of like. She's been picking them. I'm gonna take the Miami Heat. I'm gonna take the Miami Heat in 7 for all of the reasons that I just went over. This series feels like when Detroit played the Lakers and they had Kobe Bryant and Shaq. And nobody picked Detroit to win. But they were tough defensively. They had players that could match up, good coaching. And just to be honest with you, they caught the Lakers at the right time. It's probably not the sexy pick. I wanted to make sure I made my pick and not influenced by anybody on TV saying this, and that. And it might be wrong. Denver is very well capable of sweeping the Miami Heat. Absolutely. I just believe that much in their roster. But Jimmy Butler, man, I don't know what it is, but it's just like he finds a way to be huge. Like just big shot after big shot, defensive play, steal here. I'm telling you, his basketball IQ is out there, and I think we need to start having the discussion of whether Jimmy's a top 5 player. He's got my vote. Like in the NBA right now, current roster players, I think Jimmy Butler is a top 5 player. Period. And I'm not even living in the moment. Like this has just been since April, and he is just decimating teams and just coming up big. Like top 5 player in my book. So I'm going with the Heat in 7. I'll be interested tonight. I like the Heat to win tonight. I like them to come in, still kind of amped up from that Boston series. Still a game tonight. But overall, as far as the series is concerned, I like the Heat in 7. Before any of you crabs get into my inbox talking about put some money on it, I'm not that damn confident. Okay? It's just more of a good feeling thing. I like what the Heat are doing. I like their defense. I want to see how it stands up against Denver's offensive assault that they have. So I'm going to go Heat in 7. And as always, man, y'all keep subscribing. Keep liking the videos. If there's something that you like for us to discuss, you can always inbox us or you can comment on the YouTube videos. We will be up shortly, hopefully, on other platforms with just the voice portion or the audio portion so you guys can listen to it. Like if you're going to work or if you're in the car, you don't necessarily have to be concentrating on the video and seeing me. I don't think it's a bad look for you, but maybe you just want to listen to the audio portion. We're working on that. We're working real hard on that. Like I said, Elwood is going to be here shortly. He's been very instrumental in everything that we've been doing. I know you guys see my face every time, you tune in, but he's right there. And, we talk a lot in reference to, the direction of the show and what we want. Not doing this for any clicks or likes or anything like that. So you're not going to get too much controversial stuff from us, but just good guys talking about basketball, football, and golf. I think if that's your lane, man, you found your channel, you found your station. Just make sure you stick with us, and we'll make sure we keep putting out great content. As always, we appreciate you. Can't talk tonight. 2 a.m. I got to change the schedule. We appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Thank you so much. We will be back with a Game 1 analysis after the first game of the finals. Probably going to drop that on Saturday. I'd like to take a day off, get a little sleep. So we'll try to get that recorded some point in time on Friday. All right? Peace.